Hello, and welcome to Grossly Competent, the learning, development, and adulting podcast that doesn't claim to be pretty. No, sirree, but we'll happily pretend to be slightly competent. I'm your host, Steve the Green Council, joined by my co-host, the only known person to make a blind person cry on sight, Mr. Patrick Aylshire.
Well, thanks, Kermit.
No, that is Kremit. That is no. We are not doing copyrighted anything. That is Kermit.
That was like my teaching license saying Partic.
Yes.
Well, thanks, Steve. It's always nice hearing that you've been thinking about me all week. Most people spend their free time with hobbies, friends, maybe a walk outside.
Joke's on you. I have none of those. No, I'm just kidding. No, of course I think about you, Mr. Patrick. I think about you when I have nightmares, and I think about you when I am feeling sad. So quite often. Just kidding. I'm joking, folks. Do not start worrying about me. But do you know who I am worried about? Is our sponsor of the week. We demand to know, Mr. Patrick. Who is it?
Today's episode is brought to you by the charger in the other room. It's always exactly as far away as you're unwilling to walk. Somehow, every outlet in your house has become emotionally unavailable. The charger in the other room, powered by inconvenience.
Oh, man. Wow. Thanks, big charger in the other room. I am actually really glad that most, like small chargeable, appliances, I don't know if that's the right word, are all going to the same thing where it's like that USB-C. Yeah, that one. Because there was really nothing more frustrating than you have like that weird parallelogram one, and then you have like the Apple one that had like the little divots on the front. Like you had to have like 8 different varieties. Like,
you had the USB, the regular USB.
Yeah. Yep.
Whatever. And it was, very
super annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Super annoying. So now they've all kissed and made up. And we get to pretend like they're always conveniently nearby when, in fact, they're not.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Patrick, man, what's going on with you, good sir?
Well, I was fortunate to...
Wow.
That's all I got. I'm trying to come up with what I wanted to say with that. I was fortunate to get to idol's not the right word, but someone I look up to is one of my favorite authors. And I was able to go to an event last night, a talk by this author named Ryan Holiday, and he is an author on Stoicism. And he has written a handful of books over the last 10 years on Stoicism. And so my father and my brother and I went down to Chicago last night, and we not only got to see him talk, but we were able to do a meet and greet.
Nice.
So I got to meet him. He signed one of my books, but had a quick little 2-minute chat, and then we were able to get pictures together. So
cool.
We each individually talked to him. It's kind of like, might as well. We've paid for this experience, so we each went up and said hi. And then at the end, my brother was he came a little bit later, and so when he got up there, my dad and I had come back in the VIP room, as they called it, and we were able to go chat with him again, and all took a group picture. So
that's really cool, man. Nice.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience, and glad I got to do it. So that's what's new with me.
I mean, that's really cool. And the fact that it's somebody that you really enjoy the message that they have, and you've brought up this author before. I swear
I'm sure
you have. But I tell you what, let's make sure we toss some stuff in show notes.
For sure. Yep.
Maybe part of his catalog of
definitely
books or something like that. Nice, man. I have some exciting news for our listeners out there. we have a very special guest that will be joining us in, I believe, 2 weeks.
Sure.
That sounds there.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that. We are going to have the famed Tekla B. Ross join us here on Grossly Competent. She's amazing. I think she is going to have some seriously awesome things to talk to us about. She really likes to focus on how technology is stealing our attention and ways to take that power back. But she does it in a really fun and interesting way. It's not dry, even remotely. I really feel like all of you listeners out there are really going to enjoy this. Patrick and I had the opportunity to see her at Disrupt HR in Milwaukee this past spring, and I have been clamoring to have her on this pod. She accepted against her better judgment, might I add, but she did. No takebacks. So she'll be joining us. I believe we are recording that one in 2 weeks. So that should come out
a few weeks from now.
Yeah, pretty soon. So cool stuff. I'm looking forward to it, man. I don't know.
Same here. We have a lot of work to do to prepare ourselves in the next 2 weeks to continue to be awesome, is what I was trying to say. So,
well, I always, anybody that's out there, whenever I reach out, or Patrick, maybe you do too, but whenever I reach out to somebody like, hey, would you be interested in joining us as a guest on Grossly Competent? I'm always like, it's pretty lowbrow. Like, just putting it out there, folks. Like, if you are expecting to elevate yourself, no. We're hoping you elevate us because we need it. No,
I like to say that
it was fun.
I like to tell people that, well, how is your podcast been successful? And I've said, well, our website has crashed 7 times because of the usage of the users trying to, listen in. So I think that
is that why it crashes?
Oh no, wait, we put our pictures on the website. That's why.
Yep. Yeah. So that's what I thought too. It was, people are clamoring to listen. It's like, no, they're actually trying to shut it down on purpose. So, you learn something new every day. No, sincerely, we are really looking forward to Tekla. There's a couple of other irons we have in the fire that I'm also really looking forward to. And I guess stay tuned. We'll let you know once those get approved, or AKA they say yes.
You put the iron back in the fire after you had touched your face initially. Is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's how I got my complexion.
Yeah. Right.
No.
Right. So, Steve, I got a question for you.
Yes, I hope I have an answer.
What would you say you do here?
What?
That's our segue.
I mean, not much.
That's our
is that our segue?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Good. Jesus. Okay. So, fine listeners out there, I thought it would be super duper fun to talk about everyone's favorite pastime, and that is interviewing.
Whee!
Right? Like, everyone loves a good interview. Everyone just loves being on that hot seat and feeling like every single thing you say is being dissected. And like, it's so awesome, right? Like, that's so cool. No,
yeah,
I'm being a smart ass, but like, all jokes aside, I did recently have to do some interviews for a position I'm looking to fill, and it just really got me thinking about like both sides of the coin, right? Like being the interviewer and the interviewee and the dynamic of that. And there are so many. You can't throw a dead cat on the internet without somebody being like, I know all the answers to your interview. Shut up. No, you don't, because it's all completely dependent. So I thought it would be worth, because, and we've brought this up in the past, Patrick, that you have had a different work experience than I have. And it'd be kind of fun to kind of bounce our, like, I don't know, do's and don'ts, if you will. Like, that you have found that have either worked for you or you've heard have worked for other people, things you'd recommend, and I don't know, stuff like that.
Yeah, like it.
I don't know. I feel like we're always pretty good about the back forth formats. Do you want to start?
Sure. And I have also been on both sides. Obviously, I have interviewed for positions myself, but I've also been on a panel a few times throughout my career in different fields that I've been in. And so, I'll be able to draw from that and share out the what's good, what's not so good.
Nice.
All that.
Okay.
So, I can start if you like.
Yeah. I was curious. Are you going to do this like do's then don'ts, or are you going to do it like this is what I think you should do as an interviewer? This is what you're going to do as an interviewee. Whatever you want to do.
We'll start with
whatever you want.
I think I'll start with just going as I'm thinking off the top of my head here that I'll start with like as an interviewer.
Okay, cool.
What you should do and then maybe not do, and then go back and forth. And so you're
love it.
Share. So I want to start with just one thing that always kind of I hate the phrase grinds my gears, but like what's annoying to me, I never liked that phrase. I don't know why. It sounds weird to me. But
no, all good.
What bothers me in being an interviewee, and so as far as what interviewers do, and that is my advice is to stick with one question. So not making this multi-response crap. Okay. So I've been on interview panels where like they already have the questions laid out. We're going and, we're kind of doing a round robin asking questions, but I've also been on the other end where I'm the interviewee and I get this 2 or 3 part question where like one, it can be confusing. And 2, the person's interviewing, they're thinking about how to answer that first part of the question. They're not probably most like, at least maybe that's me, my problem of lack of being able to comprehend that. But when I've been on those panels, when I've been an interviewee and they ask 2 to 3 part, it gets you flustered a little bit because you're trying to figure out like, okay, and I've done this before where like, could you repeat that second part? And then I answer the second part. Was there a third part to that question? It just throws off the momentum or the flow. And so I really think that companies can get a little bit more creative with what they're trying to ask without having to have so many different parts to that.
Yeah.
Those questions. That's just something maybe it's just I'm a little nitpicky on, but
no, I think that's completely justifiable. I agree with you as an interviewee. I do not like those questions. I mean, I will certainly answer them because I am the interviewee.
Yeah.
But I find myself doing the same thing you do, man, where you're like, I'll answer the question and then I'll actually stop, be like, oh, I never actually fulfilled the entirety of it. Like I only got to the first part. Do you mind if I also get to the second? And then I kind of continue from there. As an interviewer, I know I've certainly asked those multi-question questions, but, and not to say that my way of doing it's perfect, but I like to think that even though there's multiple questions to it, you can answer it with one stone, perhaps.
Okay.
Like it's a 2 bird, 1 stone kind of a thing. Like, hey, how do you handle feedback and criticism? Like technically I asked you 2 different questions, right? But you can answer that in one swoop, really.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's a really generic question, but it was the first thing that came to the top of my head.
I'm thinking more like, how do you handle, what was it, criticism and whatever that first
feedback, criticism, feedback. Yeah, whatever.
Tell me about that. Then tell me about a time that it didn't go so well, and then come up with a scenario where it could work, but maybe it won't work. And then, what did you have for lunch this morning? It's breakfast.
And what's my name again?
That's embarrassing. That would be
yeah. That's tough, right? No, in that vein, dude, I could not agree more with that. Yes. So I think as an interviewer, well, we've talked about it. The KISS method, right? Try to keep it simple.
Keep it simple, Steve.
Keep it simple, Steve, even though I'm already simple enough. Can I jump in on this?
Please.
Somewhat, kind of. I don't know if it necessarily falls into the same category, but I have found as an interviewer, folks, this might come as a shock, but I like to talk. Yep. Suspend belief. One of the things I have had to really work on and train myself is to let the interviewee do the majority of the speaking. I will certainly help to a degree. Like if I want clarification or if I really vibe with somebody's answer, I'll be like, oh, that's kind of like this. This is really cool. But it is very important to make sure that you have invited them into your domain, and it is important that you give them that respect. Let them do the talking.
Yeah. And then let me jump in on the other side of that is that when I completely agree. I think it should be like a 20-80 thing. Like the interviewee should be talking 80% of the time. But with that said, I think a good tip would be 30 to 60 second max response. Like get to the point. Kind of goes to one of my next thing. And I know for sure I have brought this up on here, this podcast before at some point of this is kind of for the interviewee now, obviously, but don't get caught up in the tell us about yourself trap.
Oh my God. I fucking hate that one so much.
We've talked about it though, because it's, if you're not an experienced employee, you haven't been to many interviews before, you may not understand what that question means. And so I'll just spell it out. Tell us about yourself isn't a question for you to talk about your hobbies and your likes and your dislikes. What the employer, the company, is trying to know is tell us about your work experience and how you can bring that to this position. It's just a back way to say it, but I know firsthand that people don't always know this response, because when I worked in the entertainment industry, we did a resume and interview skills class, and we would do mock interviews for some of these employees that were maybe wanting to at some point move up in the company. So they might have been frontline, maybe they wanted to go hotel, casino, vice versa, in different positions, but they had to interview for those positions. So we would do mock interviews, and these kids, I'm calling them kids, 18, 19 years old, don't know any better. And and it was, tell us about yourself. And this one gentleman, really nice kid, it was so, I don't remember it verbatim. This was 6-7 years ago now, but I live with my mom and my sister, and I love playing guitar, and it was just the nicest response, like the most wholesome response. But I stopped him after a minute. I was like, hey, you got a lot of cool stuff going on outside of work, but let me stop you right there. What this question's actually asking is, in your current position as blah, 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 table games, whatever you were doing, how can you take that and bring that to this position that you're applying for? Yeah. So it's what.
And I will add to this that you're right. It is, it's such a trap. And I know in my early years, I absolutely fell for this one.
I'm sure.
Oh God, so hard. Like I think about that, it's like, well, I didn't know any better. I mean, I don't cringe at it. It's just like, I didn't know. I want to say it was like a LinkedIn course. I swear to God. I'll see if I can't find the specific person that did this course. But the advice they gave, I stand by it, and it actually helped me land the current position I'm in. And that is, when you get that question of tell us about yourself, it's to start off with a representation of who you are as a professional, and then give a brief back history. So like case in point, I'll kind of explain what I mean by that. She does a much better job, by the way. So I remember when I interviewed for the position I'm in currently, this question came up, like, oh, tell us about yourself. And I'm like, instantly I was like, God damn it. But I went, okay, I'm like, I'm an educator at heart through and through. I'm like, my passion is when somebody walks away from something that I've been able to help them or I've created, and they are a better person because of it. And it's because I genuinely believe that. Like, that is what I've always loved about learning and development, is the learning part and the development part. Like, they get smushed together. Yeah. It's awesome. And then I explained that I've had X experience in these different industries. Then I can briefly sprinkle in my actual professional career. And after the interview, and once I was hired, the COO actually had come up to me and said, one of the things that really sold me on you is you started things off when we asked, tell us about yourself. It wasn't some like self-affliction thing. You just flat out said, I'm an educator. And he's like, that really sold me on you right from that point. I was like, damn. Awesome. Like, so if you're really big into like strategy, like you mentioned, this kid talked about like tabletop games. So it's like, are you a big strategy person? Strategy is very important in the professional atmosphere. Like, bring that up. Like, I have a strategic mind, and that has really helped me in these ways, which then, as you said, how can you bring that to the organization you're interviewing with? You can marry those things together. You have gold. Like, it's a really important thing. It's a skill, and you have to practice it. But yeah, really cool. Good.
Great response, though.
Well, and it's good insight that you brought up too. Of it is such a trap, man. Like, I didn't have that on my list, and it's absolutely a trap. Mm-hmm. Holy hell. Yeah. It's funny. We talked about. I mentioned letting the interviewee do most of the talking, and now I'm going to actually flip that a little bit.
Okay.
You said the 80-20, which I'm like, yeah, I totally agree. And now I'm going to go against that because I have squirrels in my brain, and that's how it works. I have always found that the interviews, whether I'm an interviewer or interviewee, that I have felt the best about, and I've had the greatest successes with, are the ones that feel the most conversational.
Yes.
Like, so there should be a back and forth. Like, as a matter of fact, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, when you answer somebody's question, like, oh, tell me about a time you did this. And I'll give my answer. It's like, is that like, does that clarify it for you? Or is there anything that you felt like I could have done better? Like, is there something that you see in that scenario that you would have improved on? Like, I kind of kick it back too, because I want it to be an actual conversation. A lot of times I'll get met with like, oh no, like, I think that's probably fine. Like, okay, cool. We're on the same page.
Throw them off a little bit.
Well, and it's not meant to be like some head game. It's just meant to be like, well, you're interviewing me just as much as I'm interviewing you.
Yeah. Right.
So I think the more conversational you can be, you show your true character in that too. Everybody and their mom can memorize a resume, but the resume doesn't tell the story. You tell the story. It's important that people see you as a conversationalist, that you actually have the social skills to carry on a conversation, unless like the position isn't customer facing or people facing to that fact. It's like, well, then fine. I have no, I can't help you because I've never had that kind of a position. Hey, Uggos. Patrick and I constantly talk about our own mishaps and pains and really just about anything about our adulting lives and workplace. But we'd love to hear your questions for us. So what have you always wanted to ask Patrick and I, but just haven't done yet?
To do this, we'll need you to reach out to us. And you can do so by going to our Instagram @grosslycompetent or send us an email, grosslycompetent@gmail.com. We'll pick through and read off our favorites in an upcoming episode. That's funny that you brought this up, because one of my points was for the interviewee is take a deep breath. It should feel like a conversation.
Oh, it's perfect. So, yes, you're right.
So in a way, I mean, I get your point too of like, maybe not the 80-20 as far as, because of if you're an interviewee and you're saying like, oh,
sure,
does that clarify things? And so, yeah, there's going to be some more maybe give and take. But it generally, it is a conversation between, well, let's say 3-4 people, interviewee, and then whoever's on the panel, let's say. So I think that's just to get people more comfortable too, to say like, this is, you're not on trial here. This is a, it's a conversation between someone who currently has a title and someone who wants to work for the company. So.
Yeah. There's something, do you mind if I add to that real quick?
Please. Yeah.
Because I think something that you kind of touch on with this, you're not on trial. Most people that despise interviews, it's because they feel like they're being scrutinized. And I used to feel that way. Like, I used to hate interviewing. Like, man, I used to hate it so much. But then once I got past that notion of like, I'm on trial, and then I gravitated towards, this is just a conversation. And like, I might crack a joke or like just something like that, but it's conversational. It just really sets the tone for who you are as a person. And it'll also help you feel more personable to the organization, because you're right. It's just other people in the room that happen to be working at the place that you have an interest in. And quite frankly, if you feel like you are being scrutinized to the nth degree and you can't have it conversational, my follow-up question to you is, do you really want to be there to begin with?
Yeah.
So,
sure.
that
leads into my next point as far as with the interviewer is remember that the interviewee is also seeing if your company would be a good fit. Be honest with your answers to their questions. Don't try to sugarcoat. There's some things that they're going to ask that you can't maybe answer because it may not be appropriate for an interview, or it's something that is just, I don't know what they would ask, but like still something where you have to kind of give generalities. But like, don't, how's the culture? Let's say someone asks that, which I think is an odd question to ask in the interview, because how do you respond to that? But like,
good.
It's great. Everyone loves each other. We get together for happy hour every Friday. Don't say that if that's not true.
Yeah.
Everyone's best friends. Like, don't make stuff up. Whatever the question might be, be honest, be truthful, and I think that's the best way to go about it, because again, it is like you said, that person that's in the opposite chair is thinking they really should. And again, I get it, people, there's times where it's like, oh my gosh, I need a job so bad. But at the end of the day, again, do you really want to work for a company where a month or two from now, you're going to think, what did I do? Why did I get myself in this situation? This culture is toxic, or this is not the place for me. So you have to ask you have to ask some sort of question to figure out, is this a place I want to work? And then obviously once you actually get there, then you start to kind of see the truth. But I think you can kind of weed out some of those responses. If you maybe people in the interview, they're starting to sweat when you ask them questions, or they're not prepared, or, you could say like, I've asked this question before. It's been a while, but in an interview, I've said like, what do you love about working here? And if the free beer after work, you know what?
Well,
okay.
Have you heard of Zero Proof Pass?
Like, I love that I don't work very hard. Like, okay, well, maybe I don't want to be here if they don't have good responses to the questions I have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's always a good, I don't know. I like that question. I like it when I ask it. I like it when I have to answer it. Because it gives me, as a matter of fact, I think I said this earlier, that I did an interview for a position that I'm trying to fill just today. And that question was posed to me. And my answer was, I love the fact that I know the people I work with have their heart in it. for all the right reasons. And
Awesome.
that's not me blowing smoke. I am nothing if I am not authentic. Like, I will tell you what I genuinely think, good or bad, right? And this is something I truly believe. Like, I love that part. So when she asked that, and I don't know if she can think I'm full of it or whatever, but if this person decides to work for us, I think she's going to find out very quickly that, oh, he was very sincere with that. That is the truth. And that's what I want. I want them to see that. So, yeah. I like that a lot. That's good. And I would actually say both ways. If you are the interviewee, do not embellish.
Yeah.
Don't. Please don't. I don't even have that as my don'ts, but please don't do that. One of my don'ts was, do not answer the question of why are you interested in this role with, I needed to make sure my unemployment doesn't stop. Don't do that. I'd love to tell you I've never had somebody say that to me, but I have had, in fact, someone say that to me. Yep. Yeah, so there's that. So please don't. Sometimes I will get a chuckle out of somebody if they're just very blunt about something, like, I admire your honesty. Like, what are you interested in? They're like, it's a job and has benefits, and I have a family. You know what, man? I can respect that. Like, yes. I get it. Sure, fair enough. Well, let's make sure you're the right fit for this. And then we have to be a bit serious, but I'll admire that to a degree of, like, okay, like, you know what you want and what you need. I can respect the hell out of that.
That's funny. It's like, but I also don't know if that sets like a great impression initially, because I have, and one of my points was, as an interviewee, don't ask about benefits or salary in the interview. So I would say
it depends, but yeah.
I think, like, so I mean, if say I've got a few questions or whatever, and like, so one of my questions is like, I think there's a way to ask it. So it's just like I noticed that the salary range wasn't listed, maybe, but versus like, how much do I get paid? I think that doesn't come off good. Or when does my health insurance kick in? Like, I just think, like, if you're thinking a little bit too far in advance, that maybe it's a little bit too urgent.
Interesting. I can see your perspective on that. Yeah.
The job description here's the problem with a lot of companies. I work in public service, so it's all open records. So one of the reasons I actually applied for the job is because there was a salary range listed, and the company I was at before, I was like, oh, I was reading the description and I was like, oh, this looks a cool position. This looks awesome. I do that already. I've done that before. I can do that, but I don't make that. And so it was one of those, I was like, well, this would be worth it if I got this position.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand why companies can't be transparent.
I agree.
Just a ballpark. It doesn't have to be, you don't even have to say, well, this is the top range for this position, so we're not going to start you there. But, like, people go through the whole process, and if it's like a lowball offer where you're like, wow, I just wasted my time, you just wasted your time, have at least some, I don't know, decency. And I'm sure there's some reasons why companies don't do that, but I think, like, kind of full circle back to my response was not trying to ask too personal questions, but also I think it's okay to have at least some understanding before you go into the interview.
Oh yeah, definitely. One of the things I will mention, because you brought up benefits and salary, a couple of times that I've had it where I'm the interviewer, that the interviewee will ask that is almost always because they're the insurance
primary
holder.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, so I'm the primary insurance holder for my family. Like, I have the benefits. What does that look like here? And that makes sense. It's like, okay, yeah, if you're going to leap from one position to another.
Are you more generic in your answer? Like, well, we have health insurance and
no. I'll talk to him about like when that would
specifics?
Start kicking in and stuff like that. Absolutely, because
okay.
I know from that experience of like, well, if you tell me it's going to be 90 days, I have to think of a contingency.
Oh yeah,
like,
that sucks when they don't.
Okay, like, do I just strap into Cobra and just take that beating to the face? Like,
yeah.
No, what do I do? So, what I've also found is when you open up that door and have that conversation, like companies worth their salt will usually try to work with you. Like, hey, I understand. Like, let me see what we can try to figure you like help you out with in this. Like, is there a way for us to whatever prorate into like whatever we can do to try to help? So in that vein, that's where I kind of do hesitate to agree with the don't ask. Because if it's something that can be like part of the remedy,
sure.
Yeah, like hell yeah, man. Why not? Yeah. How much does this pay? Please don't do that. But talking about like, hey, just want to confirm this is a salary range. Is that still correct? Yep. Like, okay, great. Yeah, that works for me. Or is there wiggle room? Like you can have that conversation depending upon your comfort level. That's acceptable. There was something else I was going to mention. Shoot. I don't know. Maybe it's just my own bias, but if you ever come across a job description that does list the salary range and it's like, this pays out 42,000 to 398,000, you're like, really? That's your range? Yeah. A $250,000 is the range? Like, next. Like that, that kills me so much. Like, if there's that big of a discrepancy, they're full of it.
Hey, friends, we love doing this, and if you like what you're hearing and want to support the show, here are the best ways possible.
Subscribe, follow, and give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts.
You can visit us on Buzzsprout at grosslycompetent.buzzsprout.com. Here you can become an active supporter.
Or give us a shout on Instagram at grosslycompetent.
And please tell your friends, family, coworkers, or that awesome learning and development person at your company about this podcast. We appreciate all of you more than you know. Any support out there you can throw our way truly means the world to us. We're grateful we get to bring it to you each and every week.
And now, back to the show.
We love the LinkedIn descriptions or any job description that says experience required 7 years, fresh out of college.
Yeah. Yes. Or it's you must have 10 years of experience with this product that's been around for 2.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, now that's not fair.
Speaking of questions, I will add that for the interviewee to obviously have questions prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like to I tell people this, have questions obviously prepared for the end of the interview, because the interviewer is going to say what questions you have for us. And I assure you, if you answer, I don't really have any, not a good look. Okay. Have something to show your interest in the company. And you can, so I always say have at least 5. Okay. But here's what I say, but more. The reason is because they might have answered 2 or 3 of those questions in the interview itself. So you don't want to go back to, well, actually that was all my questions. So have at least a few that show you're interested, that you can kind of pivot if you need to. Because again, you want to at least appear and look that you really do want this job and you're excited about it. So I think that's a great little tip to say, have those questions, but come up with more, just because you never know how much time is going to be left. I don't know if I've told you this, Steve, but the company I'm currently at, it was the 2nd round interview and I was meeting with the director of the department. So it would be like my boss's boss essentially. And it was during early COVID, so that it was a virtual interview. And I had already asked the first time, I had a panel of 3 or 4 people, and I had asked 5 questions during that interview. So before this next round, I researched another 6 or 7 just in case. but I want new questions because I don't want, they're going to trade notes. I don't want this. Oh, he asked the same questions last time.
Mm-hmm.
The interview starts off with, gentleman says, "Hey, I'm so-and-so. Yeah, nice to meet you." His first question, "What questions do you have for me?" It was an hour of me asking. I mean, he's
awesome.
very long-winded, but that was how the interview. Thank God I had questions prepared to ask him because
that's awesome.
I would have been like, I don't have any. Now we're sitting there at a minute into the interview, and it's like basically over.
Thank you for your time. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely agree. You know what? I'm going to expound on that. I don't have this on my little cheat sheet here. Bring like a pad of paper, like something to write, because like once again, you'll notice that the interviewers are writing things as you answer things. Mm-hmm. Feel free to write down your own things as they answer your questions too. And if
don't be afraid. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
don't be afraid to have your questions on like note cards. Don't have to memorize. Have all this stuff. No one's expecting that. So write the questions down. So I always just bring usually note cards with me just to
totally
like,
awesome
through it. Oh, yes, this one. And so sorry to cut you off.
I've even done it where like I'll do like a whatever, like a notepad kind of a thing, right? And I'll have my whatever 5 to 10 questions, and if during the conversation one gets answered, I'll circle it, and I'll even be like, oh well, you actually beat me to that one, so that's perfect, like you already answered that one, great, like one less thing we have to talk about at the end. And like I'll kind of like announce that to be like, yeah, I did have that, but you beat me to it, so clearly it was something you did want to talk about. And it just kind of gives, once again, that conversational piece, just like you and I right now, we're having a conversation about this, and we ask each other questions and give our own little anecdotes and whatnot. That's exactly the same way it should feel.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see, what else do I want to mention on here? This should be obvious. Don't, and this is for both of you, don't come late.
Oh God.
Don't come late. If you're the interviewee and you don't have a really, really good reason for coming late, just don't even show up. Now there are extenuating circumstances. High traffic, an accident, like things happen. But thank goodness we have these strange rectangular devices that we can make phone calls with. And like, yes, I'm being kind of condescending on this, but dude, no. And then in the same vein for the interviewer, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Like, what? Don't be a dick. If they came, don't make them wait longer. What are you doing? No, show up on time. Do the things you need to. I'm not going to name the organization, but I did an interview. I met with a recruiter, and she is lovely. Her name is Tanya, and I still talk to her, and she's a delight. She set me up with this organization. I was like, okay, yeah, it sounds really intriguing. This is when I was laid off. So whatever. It wasn't like I was hopping from one to another. No, I'm looking for a job, man. And this recruiter was like, I think I got one for you, and I think this is a good one. It was the first meeting was a Teams meeting. Or like Zoom, whatever the hell, right? I waited on there for 15 minutes.
Oh no.
And this is not an exaggeration. They got on. It was supposed to be one person. There was two. But they were using the same camera, which I don't care. That's fine. The main interviewer, after about 7 minutes, I'll say, looked at his watch and goes, oh, Jesus Christ, I'll be right back. and gets up and leaves. And the other person is this younger woman who I cannot stress this enough. This is a true story. Had a fucking brown paper bag, like a sandwich bag, right? Filled with like parade candy. And she just sat there piece by piece, unwrapping it, eating it, and just talking to me. For about 20 minutes. Not an exaggeration.
Was this a fast food joint? Or
No. If I was to name blast this place,
sure.
You'd be like, wait, what? Like,
wow. Yep. Unreal.
Like a very reputable organization.
Well,
it was so wild.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask before we transition this conversation was going to be, have you had any crazy experiences? Literally, because I was already thinking on the opposite side as a panelist before. So that beats my story. But
that was the kicker. So after the interview, the recruiter contacted me, right, and was like,
"How'd it go?"
Exactly. I was like, she emailed me, so I emailed her back. It's like, "Can I call you?" Which must be good.
Never,
right?
Never. Yeah.
She was like, "Of course." Dying inside. So she takes my call. I'm like, "All right, Tanya, I have to tell you this story because it would be a novel if I wrote it out for you." And I did. I told her the whole thing. And I think she had to have lost 10 pounds laughing. Like she is trying to catch her breath. She's like, "I have never been so embarrassed for something I wasn't even a part of." I'm like, "You did nothing wrong." I'm like, just when I thought she was out of candy, another Tootsie Roll came out. I'm like, I don't know where it is coming from. Like, it was so. And then this young woman's response was, "I skipped lunch." Apparently you did. Like, you are not wrong.
Good thing you got those fiber-filled treats to fill you up.
Well, what I found out after, and Tanya was like, "Okay, this isn't going to look good." She's like, "So that young woman that you reference, that is the owner's daughter."
Oh, no way.
I was like, "Oh, so I don't have a shot." But you know what the funny thing is? I actually got called for an on-site interview, and God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but whatever. Enough time has passed, and I'm nothing if not transparent and honest. I was turned down for the position, and that is completely okay. That's fine.
Wow.
But the reasoning I was turned down for the position is because, remember the gentleman I said that 7 minutes in goes, "Jesus Christ, I gotta leave," and then never came back? He told Tanya, he felt like a way different person than who I was talking to on the Zoom call. I was like, "What?
Oh my God.
You didn't talk to me. Candy Girl talked to me."
That is pretty fantastic. That's a great story.
Oh, wow. Man. Yep. That's easily one of my favorites. Runner-up would be, and this one's very short. Very short. I was in college. I know. Hold for applause. I was in college, and we had a gym that, like, it was
the olden days.
Yeah, that was like real olden days. That you could work at, and it was like super part-time, whatever, a couple hours here and there, nothing crazy. Clean some gym equipment and whatever. And I sat down for the interview, and they mentioned like, "Oh, you're gonna need to like make sure you know like the muscle groups and all this kind of stuff." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know any of that." So I did flashcards and all sorts of stuff.
Yep.
So I sit down and I'm like, I am ready for this. And the first question was, if you could be a superhero, which superhero would you be? And I pushed my chair back and I stood up and went, I thought we were going to have a serious interview. Clearly I was wrong. thank you for your time. And I started grabbing my things, and they like just could not believe what was happening. They're like, no. It's okay. Just have a seat. Like, no, like it's okay. Like there's other people waiting. You can have them come. Like that's okay. This is clearly not for me. Like I'm not going to answer that question because it's ridiculous. And I am a comic book nerd, and you're not going to like my answer. Like, no, this is ridiculous. I end up getting the job.
Wow.
Yep. I ended up getting the job. So I was true to myself, and I was like, no, I'm not taking a ridiculousness. And I think they were genuinely like, holy shit.
You left the interview and they gave you the job?
I did not. I sat back down, and they did not ask me any more of those BS kinds of questions. And sure enough, yeah, I beat out like 10 different people for the job.
That's so funny. Holy crap.
Like, what? What superhero? Shut up. If you ask that, or like, what kind of animal are you? Whoever is listening, if you get that one, just get up and walk out. You're like, this is clearly not a respectable place. You're ridiculous. No. Stop it. Wow. Naughty. Okay. I will get off my soapbox. I would like to hear your horror story.
So I was this was my first teaching job. And I had resigned. So I took a job. I was working at a charter school. A parochial school, and I got a job in public education. So I was like, I'm going to take that position. So I'm going to be paid in rocks instead of dirt. So it's an upgrade. But I was asked to be on the interview panel for the person that was going to fill my position. It's a small, obviously, parochial school. So, there was going to be, I think 3 or 4, there was 5 of us on the panel. It was 4 teachers and the principal. So we interviewed, we interviewed 3 people. The split was, we went around basically after the interviews, and 2 people really liked this one woman. She had, her children went to the school. She knew the church really well. It would have been a good fit. The other person was a young college student that was really energetic, would probably be a great teacher, but also very young. So it was like split 2 to 2. Okay. There's 5 people on this interview, right? So there's going to be a deciding factor. Here's the thing. The principal has already made his selection. So he's the ultimate, he's the principal. There's 4 teachers. Okay. He goes to me, well, you're the deciding vote. No. Because I had already basically, like, I was pushing for this parent that was already like, she's a substitute teacher here. She knows the kids. She knows the curriculum. I was basically trying to save this young teacher. Like, you don't want to start you'll get a job in public education. It's going to be a better fit for you. I was just kind of trying to, that was my mindset of like why I wanted to go with this other teacher. But I hadn't got to give my opinion yet. The principal jumped in and he was like, well, you're the deciding vote. So I've got 4, I'm leaving the school, so I don't really care. But at the same time, I'm like, you're our boss. You don't tell the teachers to make this is someone's livelihood. I should not.
So afraid you were going to say the principal pulled out a coin. Like, I genuinely was like, oh, like that's where obviously listeners can't see my face, but I was like, oh no. Oh,
not that bad. Not that bad. God. But that should never be
that's
a choice
rough.
That,
Yeah, that's a rough one.
And then another crappy time, I will say, I won't name the district, but it was in public education. I was on so we were hiring a reading intervention or reading coordinator for the district. Okay. We down to 3 people. And so what they did was they wanted to do a round robin interview. So the 3 people that interviewed for this final position came in at the same time, but they broke them into 3 groups. The first group was with this one teacher who was doing tours of the school in the district. So that was like a 45-minute kind of window.
Perfect.
They were all 45-minute windows. The second group was the principal and the superintendent doing the interviews, like a one-on-one. The third group was me and 11 other teachers doing a panel interview.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Brutal.
At the end of the night, we knew one person were like, no, not great. But the other two, we all really liked. The end of the night, the principal and the superintendent come in. They say, hey, what'd you guys think? We unanimously voted one of the people 12-0. They said, thank you for your time. We're going to go with this other person.
Hey, I love your opinion, but I don't give a shit.
Here's the problem. The superintendent was a total jerk. And he was doing this for a reason. He was telling the school board, hey, we did this interview and this is what has been decided. If none of us, we were there like 3 or 4 hours. I mean, because they gave us like dinner and stuff, but then we had these 3 rounds of 45 minutes each. You know, it was after school. We're not paid for that. It's just after school. If he would have said, well, the teachers didn't want to be on the panel, that was his other, he could have used.
Wow.
So we had said, well, this is why we have 12-0. He goes, didn't even let us explain why. No, we've already made our decision. And then we all went home. We're like, what the hell just happened?
Wow. Oh, man. Name and shame. No, I'm just kidding. No, we won't. But you can whisper it. They can't hear it if you whisper it. I'm kidding. No. they can. Wow. That's wild. Mm-hmm. What a slap in the face.
It wasn't like it was, 7-5, 9-3. It was 12-0. We were unanimous that this teacher should have been hired. And they said,
well, I mean, I guess on that note, Patrick, do you know who picked us 1-0? Actually, wouldn't it be 0-1? Picked us 0-1.
Yeah.
It didn't pick us.
For sure. I would say a fine person known as the Spinnerooski.
The Spinnerooski! I probably should have asked, did you have anything else you wanted to add? But I kind of felt like let's end on the funny stories. The funnies.
Definitely.
All right, folks, it is the Spinnerooski. While Mr. Patrick fires up the wheel, a reminder for all you wonderful listeners out there. Each episode we spin the Spinnerooski. It's a wheel of names that might belong to the woman who so generously shoved Mr. Patrick and I into the Ugly Club all those years ago. And the goal is that eventually we land on her name so we can thank her properly. We are on officially name number 49 right now. Tonight, number 49. That's great. I mean, we're whittling on the names. There is a chance that we have already named her, but we don't know it. So
right, we haven't heard from him yet.
That's true. With that, Mr. Patrick, are you ready?
If you're a betting man, you have a 101 in 134 chance.
Spin that Rooski.
The names are so small I can't even read it. Ooh, this is a good one. Penelope.
Penelope Pit Stop.
You got it.
Wacky Races. Sorry. Penelope. Wow. Thank you so much, Penelope.
I love that name. My friend's daughter.
Whoa. Penelope.
My friend's daughter goes by Penny, but she's Penelope. It's such a beautiful name.
It is a really beautiful name. Penelope, you're amazing. And I could see it being a Penelope, especially if you are really Penelope Pit Stop. And you just shove Mr. Patrick and I like there is no business, so you can race to Mr. Joe. who
Absolutely.
so politely declines. Now that I'm thinking about it, she rejected us, and in turn, he rejected her. The circle of life.
Yeah, it is a circle of life.
I feel like, shoot, what's his name?
We were like the ones who were eaten, and then the person that like essentially ate us turned around and also was eaten in a weird way.
Yes. Anyway, wow. All right. Well,
the
thank
predator,
you, Penelope.
the prey, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yep. The mouse eats the cheese and the cat eats the mouse. Except we're the cheese. Are we moldy cheese? We're moldy cheese.
We're moldy cheese.
Yep. So Penelope is a mouse. And Joe is the cat? What a terrible analogy. Anyway, well, thank you so much, Penelope. We appreciate you and everything you've given us. You're a delight, whether you know it or not.
Penelope, I remember how hard you shoved me, but I forgive you if you just give us an email, give us a shout. We'll love to have you on the pod.
We would love to have you on the pod. Every Penelope is just shutting this off.
I'm trying to act a little more excited for our Spinnerisky because I have been told that my excitement does not always match.
Oh, no, you're fine. Dude, shout outs?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shout out you, Steve, for the awesome topics you come up with.
Oh, dude.
Because this one was fun. This was really fun.
I don't deserve that, but that's very thoughtful of you. I want to give a shout out to yo mama. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, Mrs. Aylshire, you are a delight, and you know I love you. I don't really have a specific shout out. I feel kind of bad. Yeah, nothing that really comes to mind.
We can edit that in.
Edit what in?
Your shout out when you think of it in like 20 seconds.
No. No, I think just like I don't want to just like throw one out there for the sake of throwing one out there, because there's been a lot of wonderful people that consistently reach out, and it's been really fun seeing YouTube, like all the different, likes and whatever, follows or whatever. Like that's pretty cool. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's just I love seeing people interact, and I appreciate it immensely. There's my shout out.
That was well done.
Thanks.
Very well done.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Excuse me. I think it's about that time.
I think it is too. You ugly son of a biscuit.
You're an ugly Seabiscuit.
They do say I look like Seabiscuit. Anyway, folks, that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Also, feel free to like and subscribe on YouTube. But until next time,
Jesus Christ.
Did you like what I was doing with my jaw? That was neat.